Did you know that Matera, often called the City of Stones, is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world? We're talking 9,000 years of history here, long before Rome, Athens, or even the pyramids. Here's the kicker today. I'm taking you to the most beautiful city we've explored during this grand tour of Italy. I originally wanted to save this gem for the last episode of the season. You know, go out with a bang. But let's be honest, because Matera is just too good to wait any longer. And, since it's that magical time of the year, right between Christmas and New Year, I thought, what better way to wrap up 2024 than with a highlight like this? Welcome to Matera, the City of Stones and one of the most beautiful towns to visit in Italy. This town feels like stepping onto a movie set, and for good reason. And that's because it's been featured in movies like The Passion of the Christ and even in James Bond, No Time to Die. This is the view right from the balcony of our hotel room. And my husband booked us a hotel, which is smack in the middle of the old town. I have less than 40 minutes to convince you that Matera tale of resilience, transformation, and timeless beauty. So, let's get started. And by the way, we could not drive up to our hotel. So, we had to find a public parking lot, which is about 5 to 10 minutes walk away, give or take. Fun fact, Matera is over 9,000 years old, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. We're kicking things off here at the Palazzo dell, or as I personally like to call it, a front row seat to history. This stunning building dates back to the 16th century and was once the city's town hall. And now, here we are at the stunning Church of St. Francis of Assisi. And this masterpiece has been standing here since the 13th century. But what you're seeing now is its beautiful Baroque makeover from the 1700s. So, let us go inside for a while. From the quiet pews to the detailed frescoes and sculptures, it's a peaceful escape from the busy streets outside. I always love lighting a candle in places like this, taking a quiet moment to reflect. Do you have any rituals when you visit churches or historic sites? So, let me know in the comments. Before we dive deeper and get lost in Matera, allow me a few moments to put us on the map. Our hotel is near the Piazza delle, and we just headed over to Piazza San Francis. It's just a quick walk, but along the way, you'll get to soak in Matera's famous streets. The street connecting these two piazzas is known as Via San Francis d'Assisi. Alright, guys, brace yourselves because we've officially gone from romantic Baroque to spooky Baroque. This is Chiesa del Purgatorio and it is tucked along Via Ridola, just a short stroll from Piazza Vittorio Veneto. And I know, that's a lot of Italian names to try to get right, and trust me, I am also struggling, please don't grill me. So let us try to focus on the scenery instead, and I'll write the names of the important landmarks on the bottom left corner of your screen as we go along. See those skulls? Yeah, they're not just Halloween decorations. These symbols represent the souls in purgatory, reminding us that life is short. Honestly, it's a little morbid, but somehow, Matera makes it beautiful. Alright, let's take a little stroll down this amazing and one of Matera's most picturesque streets. Because, to be honest, I think we might just be time traveling here. And just look at these views, if you do not believe me. And here we are, Santa Chiara d'Assisi, another quiet little spot that often gets overshadowed by some of Matera's bigger names, but don't let that fool you. Because this church has its own kind of magic. Can we just pause for a second and appreciate how this place looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale? It's tucked away in the heart of Matera, with its simple yet elegant design that's been standing tall since the 1200s. The warm afternoon sun was casting a golden hue over the street, and if there's one thing I've learned about Italy, it's that no matter where you go, you'll find a cat soaking up the sun and living their best life. We're now heading towards Palazzo LanFranchi. And this place? Well, it is an absolute showstopper. Now, if you're into impressive architecture, this is your jam. Along this street you will find a perfect blend of old-world charm and everyday Italian life. And look at these buildings. You've got these gorgeous stone facades with windows that seem to whisper stories of centuries gone by. It was built in the 1600s, so you know it's got some serious history under its belt. And it started as a noble residence, and now? Well, it's home to the Museum of Medieval and Modern Art. Art, history, and beauty, all in one place. If you're an art lover, you're gonna love what's inside this place. And the Museum of Medieval and Modern Art is packed with incredible pieces. Okay, hold on to your hats, because from this point onwards, you are going to see the most breathtaking views you'll ever witness. And we're standing right here, next to Palazzo LanFranchi, and let me tell you, Matera looks like something out of a fairy tale. You know how some cities have pretty views, but they kind of feel, I don't know, polished maybe? However, here in Matera, it feels like the earth itself is telling a story. We took to the alley on the left side of the palazzo, and walk with me, let us find out together, what are the stories that Matera is trying to tell us. Matera is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, and its inhabitants have been carving their homes into the cliffs long before the Roman Empire or even the Egyptian pyramids. And these ancient cave dwellings are what we now call the Sassi di Matera, or the Stones of Matera, and they're the heart and soul of this city. We will walk around the city and discover the best viewpoints to enjoy those stones dwellings. And we will also bring you to alleys and show you views of this town that are simply impossible to believe. There are two main districts in the Sassi. The first one is Sasso Caveoso, the older part, where the caves are still rustic and untouched, and Sasso Barisano, where many caves have been restored into stunning hotels and restaurants. So, let's take this staircase, and dive into the fascinating tale of Matera, and let me share everything you need to know to plan a trip here. Matera is located in Basilicata, a region in southern Italy, nestled between Puglia to the east, Calabria to the south, and Campania to the west. It's about a 1-hour drive from Bari, the capital of Puglia, and sits roughly 230 kilometers, more or less, southeast of Napolis. And if you picture the map of Italy as a boot, Matera is right around the arch. The nearest airport is located near Bari, and from there, you can rent a car, take a shuttle, or hop on a train to Matera. However, the train ride would take you about 1.5 hours from the airport. So, I would recommend driving as the most convenient way to get there. The winding roads of Basilicata offer stunning views, and Matera has several parking options outside the historical center. But do take note that the city itself is a pedestrian-only zone. There are also regular buses from Bari and other nearby cities, making Matera accessible for daytrippers. When you look around you, it's hard to believe that the inhabitants of Matera were living in Sassi or caves thousands of years ago. But the Sassis weren't just caves, they were homes, churches, and entire communities. And by the 8th century, Matera became a haven for monks who fled persecution. These monks carved incredible rock-hewn churches, adorned with frescoes, into the cliffs. And over time, Matera grew into a bustling town. But do not think for a moment that life here was glamorous. In fact, it was far from it. By the early 20th century, Matera's beauty was overshadowed by poverty. And the Sassis became overcrowded, and conditions were dire, with families and livestock sharing cramped spaces. The Italian government had no choice and was forced to relocate the residents to modern housing, and this left the Sassis abandoned, like a ghost town of sorts. And this happened after the war, around 1952, if I remember it correctly. However, since the start of this video, this town looked nothing like an abandoned town. So, what is happening here? Walk with me as we explore another corner of Matera, and allow me to continue my story. Let's fast forward to the 1980s, and this is the period which I will call the revival period. The abandoned Sassis were gradually restored and repurposed into hotels, into restaurants, and even into museums. In 1993, Matera was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and in 2019, it was named the European Capital of Culture. For me, personally, Matera stands as a symbol of rebirth, an almost forgotten piece of ancient history that has been meticulously restored and upgraded with a twist of modern charm. For me, the history behind this town, and the way it makes me feel, by just walking around, and these views, that are simply out of this world, have completely won me over. And Matera is my absolute favorite city in southern Italy. Since we are here, let us pause for a minute to appreciate the view of Sassi di Matera once more. Today, Matera is home to about 60,000 residents, with roughly 2,000 people living in the restored Sassi districts. And the city balances its ancient roots with modern amenities, making it an enchanting destination for travelers. We are now along a path on one side of the valley, and ironically this path is known as the Park of Human History. But, doesn't that name sound grand? Trust me, it fits. And this part of Matera feels like walking through the very timeline of humanity itself. As we walk along, do pay close attention to the caves carved into the rock walls. Because this park is like an open-air museum that shows us how humans lived, adapted, and thrived in this rocky landscape. It's where the Sassi di Matera come to life, and it's not just as homes or landmarks, but as living proof of ingenuity and resilience. Can you imagine carving out your entire existence into stone? And to be honest, I think that I'd need a lot more coffee for that level of creativity. This area also ties us to Matera's connection to prehistoric times. These caves weren't just homes, but they were shelters, workshops, and even places of worship. And it's a reminder of how humans shaped the land and, in turn, were shaped by it. This area right here is a lesser-known but equally fascinating part of Matera. It has a mix of ancient cave dwellings and more modern-looking structures. Well, modern in Matera terms means that it's still centuries old. But it has amazing views of the entire town, and look at this view. The ravine feels even closer here, as if you could just reach out and touch it. I could stand here for hours. And what about you? Are you team hidden gems, or do you only stick to the highlights? So, let me know in the comments. People still live here, quietly going about their day as tourists wander by. And you might even bump into a local or two. It's a beautiful reminder that Matera isn't just a museum, it's a living, breathing city. Look around, and some of these homes have been carefully restored and are even lived in today, while others remain abandoned, frozen in time, like a window into the past. Here, you really feel the layers of time where each doorway, each stone wall seems to tell its own story. These old, abandoned dwellings are hauntingly beautiful, don't you think? And many of them date back centuries, and you can still see the outlines of windows, chimneys, and staircases carved directly into the rock. Back in the day, families lived here with their animals, inside the same space, and these small caves would serve as living rooms, kitchens, and even stables. It's hard to imagine how they managed, but the natural insulation of the rock kept them warm in winter and cool in summer. Right next to these abandoned homes, you'll see restored dwellings that have been turned into cozy residences, small art studios, and boutique hotels. The contrast is striking, and it's like the old and new Matera living side by side. This transformation is a testament to the city's rebirth, from a symbol of poverty to a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Italy's most unique destinations. Places like this make me wonder, who lived here? What was their life like? And the silence here is powerful, like it's holding the stories of generations past. And then there's the view. We are now at the edge of Matera's historic core, offering sweeping views of the Ravine di Matera. And these abandoned homes look out over the same breathtaking ravine that inspired early settlers to carve their lives into the stone here. It's like they knew they'd stumbled upon something special. So, what do you think? Would you stay in one of these restored cave hotels, or do the abandoned homes feel too eerie for you? Please let me know in the comments. Personally, I find this blend of history and mystery absolutely captivating. We still have 20 minutes left on the clock, so follow me, as I have a lot more to show you. In In case you want to experience another fascinating destination, one that was once grand but tragically ceased to exist, then you can watch my video about the haunting ruins of Pompeii. But for now, follow me as I venture deeper into the old town. And this time, we're making our way towards one of the most iconic landmarks of Matera, the Santa Maria di Idris. And as you will get to see in a while, it is tucked right into the rock of the Sassi. Its location alone is breathtaking, as it is perched high on the ridge of Monte Arona, offering incredible views of the Ravine Gorge. So up we climbed, and luckily the steps were not too steep. As we approach, notice how the landscape seems to merge with the architecture. This is what makes Matera so unique. To one side, the Ravine di Matera opens up before you, and you can clearly see a deep gorge carved by time itself. And the jagged cliffs seem to stretch endlessly, with the occasional patch of green clinging to the rocky outcrops. During the golden hours, the light dances across the landscape, turning the stone into a palette of warm ochres and soft greys. And then, when you turn around, there's the city of Matera. And from this vantage point, you get a full sense of the Sassi's layered beauty. The Santa Maria di Idris, or Saint Mary of the Water, gets its name from the Greek word odagra, meaning water, reflecting the importance of water sources to life here over thousands of years. This structure dates back to the medieval period, and its interior features frescoes that are centuries old, some of which have been painstakingly preserved. From where we stand, the two Sassos stretch out like a labyrinth, their rooftops and chimneys almost blending into one another. And it's like a sea of stone, with each home, church, and alleyway telling its own story. Alright, follow me and let's head towards the Church of St. Peter. There it is, the Church of San Pietro Caveoso standing proudly at the edge of the cliff. This 17th century Baroque church is a masterpiece of resilience and beauty, and built directly into the rock, it feels as though it has grown naturally from the earth, a testament to the deep faith of the people who lived here. Step inside and you can almost hear the echoes of prayers that have been said here for centuries. And this is not just a place of worship but a cornerstone of life in Matera, where faith and daily existence intertwined. The walls are adorned with beautiful frescoes, many of which depict scenes from the New Testament. Above us, the ceiling is simple yet captivating, with subtle curves and delicate detailing that draw your gaze upward, as if inviting you to reflect on the divine. And at the center is the main altar, blending seamlessly with the church's rustic charm. And the views from here, it's breathtaking. From the steps of the church, you're greeted with sweeping vistas of the Ravine Gorge, its wild, untouched beauty stretching as far as the eye can see. The church's exterior is stunning in its simplicity, with intricate carvings framing the entrance and a modest bell tower rising against the sky. On the other side, the dense labyrinth of the Sasso Caveoso unfolds, a sea of stone that seems to flow down the hillside. And it's the perfect spot to pause, take a breath, and let the magic of Matera sink in. This Sasso is one of the two ancient districts that make up the Sassi di Matera. Just walk around and this area will make you feel like you have stepped back in time, just by looking at a dramatic amphitheater of stone-carved dwellings cascading down the rugged hillside. From here, you can clearly see the church, distinguish an intricate maze of homes, ancient cisterns, and abandoned caves, and they are all carved from the rock. And some of these date back thousands of years, remnants of Matera's prehistoric past. We're now walking along one of the most iconic streets in Matera, known as Madonna of Virtu Street. It is actually an ancient pathway and it takes us deeper into the heart of the Sassi, while offering a blend of breathtaking scenery and architectural wonder. Walking along this street rear alley showcase the 9,000 years of Matera history, and it is like stepping through a time portal. And by looking around, it is hard to believe and it is even harder to imagine that this part of town was once a symbol of poverty and hardship, with families living in overcrowded cave homes into the mid-20th century. Water was life here, and the people of Matera were masters of harnessing it. Over the centuries, they developed a system of cisterns and canals to collect and store rainwater. The deep ravine is a reminder of the challenging landscape that shaped Matera development. And across the gorge, you can spot ancient rock churches and caves scattered across the plateau. As we stand here, it's impossible not to marvel at the resilience of this city. With support from UNESCO and local efforts, these ancient districts have been lovingly restored, transforming Matera into a living museum and a vibrant cultural hub. Today, Matera isn't just about its past. Instead, it's about innovation and creativity. And local artisans have set up shop in many of the ancient caves, reviving traditional crafts and creating a unique blend of history and modernity. And while we were walking, it struck me suddenly. The Madonna of Virtu Street isn't just a street, and the longer we walk along its cobblestone path, the more I feel that it's a journey through time. Every step brings you closer to understanding the soul of Matera, and you will come to discover a city shaped by its landscape, history, and the indomitable spirit of its people. Let's keep going because there's so much more to uncover in this extraordinary city where every corner holds a story waiting to be told. And can I just say, this is one of those views that makes you feel like a character in a movie. You know, the kind where you walk up to the edge, dramatically look out over the landscape, and then maybe whisper to yourself, "I'll always remember this." Okay, maybe that's just me. And let me tell you a little bit about the climate here. Matera generally experiences a Mediterranean climate, with hot and dry summers, and temperatures reaching 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. And this makes it perfect for evening strolls when the stone streets cool down. Winters, more particularly the months of December to February, are chilly but mild, with average temperatures around 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. And let me tell you this, Christmas time definitely adds a magical vibe to the city. We are currently in the middle of spring, and this is the ideal weather for sightseeing, with pleasant temperatures between 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. The best time to visit is either in autumn, around September or October, or you can visit in May, just like us. And as you can see, the weather is perfect and the town is not so crowded. And please do consider to stay overnight. Because, while Matera can be done as a day trip, staying overnight lets you experience the city when it's quiet and bathed in golden light. This staircase should take us to another iconic church in Matera. But you can see me standing here, unwilling to walk any further at first. But my husband almost dragged me along, and promised me that climbing up was going to be a piece of cake. And of course he lied to me. And what a big lie it was, because the climb appeared to be going on forever. And to make matters worse, the path uphill was not a straightforward one. There were narrow paths leading in all directions. And I was 100% sure that my husband did not know which one was the right one. So I stopped and I sent him ahead, to check out the paths first, while I waited for him. But the views around this area were so amazing and so beautiful, and this gave me the strength to push forward. At this point, the sun was starting to slowly dip in the sky. And as we ascend, the scenery transforms with every step, offering a new perspective on the timeless beauty of Matera. From here, you can see the entire Sasso Caveoso district unfolding beneath us, and the interplay of light and shadow brings the stone structures to life. Just imagine the echo of hammers and chisels, as stonemasons shaped this tough limestone into homes and workshops. And there it is, the magnificent cathedral, its pale stone glowing in the golden light. I hurried up the last few steps, looking forward to put an end to this tiring climb. This climb isn't just about reaching the top, but it's about immersing yourself in the essence of Matera. The views, the light, the history, it's all here, blending together into something truly unforgettable. Standing here in front of the cathedral, you can't help but be in awe, and this Romanesque cathedral dominates Matera's skyline from its perch atop the highest point of the city. Look at this exquisite rose window, a masterpiece of craftsmanship. It's an intricate 12-point design representing the 12 apostles, radiating a divine symmetry. From this vantage point, the entire city stretches out beneath us, an intricate tapestry of ancient and modern intertwined. And as the sun slowly dips, Matera transforms into a painting, its soft glow inviting you to pause and take it all in. So, what makes Matera special? I can tell you that it's not just the history or the stunning views. For me, it's the spirit of this place. Simply because every narrow alley, every carved-out stone tells a story of resilience and reinvention. Do you agree with this? Or do you have a different view? If you do, please share it in the comments section. Matera after sunset is a different kind of beautiful. It is quiet, reflective, and absolutely enchanting. And the golden lights spilling from windows and street lamps give the ancient stone walls a warm, almost amber hue. As we descend towards Piazza San Francesco, the faint chatter of diners at cozy trattorias, the sound of footsteps echoing off the cobblestones, and the occasional distant melody of a street performer fill the air. Matera feels alive in a way that's understated yet undeniably charming. And this street, a lifeline of the town, connects you not just to the heart of Matera, but also to its spirit, past and present. Our final visit brings us to the Church of Santa Lucia, a modest yet elegant structure tucked away in the heart of Matera. Standing here, the ambience feels tied to every other church we've visited today, and each one of these churches tells its story in a unique voice, but together they weave a tapestry of Matera's faith, resilience, and history. As the evening deepens, Matera transforms yet again. And from the haunting beauty of the Sassis, to the vibrant life of its streets, to this square where history and modernity intertwine, it's simply impossible not to fall under Matera's spell. Here we are, around the Piazza Vittorio Veneto, which is the pulse of Matera's modern life. This expansive square is surrounded by historic and contemporary architecture, seamlessly blending the city's past and present. And it's the perfect place to end our evening stroll. Nearby landmarks include the stately Palazzo del Governo and the solemn Monumento ai Caduti, which we will walk past in a minute. This square bridges the old and the new, the historical and the modern. But before that, let us take another look at Matera, at nightfall, as it transforms into a masterpiece of light and shadow. The labyrinth of ancient homes and caves comes alive in an entirely new way, their contours accentuated under the night light. Matera at night is an entirely different kind of beauty, a serene, almost poetic experience that lingers in your memory. The silence of the stone streets, the glow of the lights, and the sheer majesty of the views make you feel as though you've stepped into another world. From the ancient alleys of the old town, carved from stone thousands of years ago, to the grandeur of its churches, and finally to this vibrant modern piazza, Matera tells a story unlike any other. And personally, it's a tale of resilience, transformation, and timeless beauty. Just walking around, with the whispers of history behind us and the lively hum of the city around us, you can feel the soul of Matera. And I am not exaggerating when I say that it is a city that has always found a way to thrive. As we wrap up our day, let this be your takeaway. Matera is a city where the past isn't just remembered, but it is a city where the past has lived. Simply because every stone, every street, every view has a story to tell. And I mean it, and I feel it as well, through the blood in my veins. And it's a destination that lingers with you long after you leave, because even now, as I am editing this video, I still cannot believe that I was there, experiencing all of it. if you've enjoyed exploring Matera with us, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and let us know your favorite part of today's journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on our next adventure. But if you've been captivated by Matera and want to experience another fascinating destination, one that was once grand but tragically ceased to exist, then I have something special for you. Click the link and join me as we explore the haunting ruins of Pompeii, a city frozen in time by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius.